Good morning. I'll just make a brief statement and take a couple of questions. And obviously after last night's incident, we began looking into it through the evening, and as recent as 15 minutes ago, meeting with different parties. We've concluded that the driver of the 18 truck, Kyle Busch, did nothing to provoke or to cause the reactions that, in our opinion, would have violated probation. Did nothing that would have warranted the actions of Richard Childress. And so we'll have to, once we get today's race concluded, which is the focus of today, we'll have to decide what NASCAR's reaction is to Richard Childress as a member of NASCAR in an action against another NASCAR member. The biggest topic today, certainly through the conversations outside of the incident itself, was to be sure that today's event went on correctly and safely for everybody involved. And both the Richard Childress Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing organizations, we've made clear to them that our expectations is that both Joe Gibbs and Richard Childress meet with their teams to be sure that nobody from their organizations felt like there was anything that needed to be done from their side. So we'll focus on today's race now, and then quickly, maybe more quickly than normal, come back with our reaction as it relates to NASCAR or NASCAR member Richard Childress.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Listen, we'll take about 4 or 5 questions because we do have a race to run and some other things to do. I'm going to start right now with Reed. State your name and who you're with, and please, one question.
Reed Spencer with Sporting News. Mike, what was NASCAR's perception of what happened on the cool-down lap between Joey Coulter and Kyle?
That kind of falls under the statement I made that we don't think that Kyle did anything to violate his probation on the racetrack yesterday.
We'll go Dustin, and then we'll go over here to Randy.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Mike, obviously one of the things in the rule book that states that you guys can do is an emergency action and can eject an individual. One of the things it says you can eject for is for fighting. Can you explain why you didn't eject Richard, and does this not fall under fighting with what you've been able to uncover?
It does, and we do have that ability in incidents of even beyond fighting to feel like if we needed to do that, we would, and that was considered in this case. And what will happen today is that Richard will operate as the owner of Richard Childress Racing with some restrictions attached to it as to far where he may go or not go. But we decided to let Richard stay because there does need to be leadership of an organization representative, which, historically we rely on crew chiefs. But since both organizations have multiple teams, and we decided that it would be better if there was an authority from the team here, and there's not a second level authority present this weekend from his organization. Joe Gibbs is here from Joe Gibbs Racing, and we chose to allow Richard to participate today.
Randy?
Yeah, Mike. Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. You said what Kyle did on the track is not a violation of his probation, but what goes on in the garage, does that not have any a factor on when one is on probation?
Unless you know something we don't know, I'm not sure what he did in the garage that would have been in question.
What have you been told went on in the garage?
I'm not going to go through all the details. I'm just saying that we haven't seen anything that indicated Kyle violated his probation on the racetrack yesterday or even in the garage areas yesterday. Yeah.
Lee?
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Are we looking at Kyle as Kyle Busch driver rather than Kyle Busch owner? And because Kyle Busch driver does have a history with the RCR company that dates back, to Darlington. I mean, I think that's kind of where it hit the, hit the crescendo, and he was put on probation. So Are we looking at Kyle Busch driver, Kyle Busch owner, Kyle Busch competitor in general?
We look at them as members of NASCAR. Kyle Busch is a member of NASCAR. Other drivers, crew members, car owners are members of NASCAR. Our authority is around NASCAR members, and that's the way we look at them as NASCAR members. Certainly we investigate to get the totality of everything we need to make a decision. But the reaction from NASCAR is focused on what happened yesterday.
Final question goes to Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Mike, has fighting in the garage as something that used to be part of NASCAR, people would scrap it out all the time, has that changed with the current era in sports, that you simply have to look at the bigger picture and can't allow what you did years ago? Because a lot of that went on.
Well, I think throughout the history of NASCAR, we've gone through cycles of everything, including tempers in the garage and on the racetracks. And I think our responsibility lies in reacting to those trends. And if it is a trend that we feel like escalates, then we have a history of stepping in and turning those trends around.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
We'll have a statement that will be posted and issued and passed out right now.